different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Welcome back, everybody, to the EGFC presented by Intel. I'm Time Delight. I'm filling in as Los has exited and Zohan will be on later on. And I am joined by the wonderful Viking himself, the bearded menace between Brooklyn and the Bronx, as Los so eloquently stated. We head into probably our closest game of the night, at least on paper, what should be our closest game of the night. We have already seen Sienna and Iona be separated by a total of 7 rounds, so take that as you will, but I think this one has some promises.
It does. Marquette and Colorado are 2 of our 3 titans of the season and of the league. And the last time that they faced each other off in week 8, it went to overtime in the first map on Mirage, ending 19-15 in favor of Colorado. It fell off a little bit in Inferno, with Colorado taking that 16-7. So there's definitely, as we've seen with Colorado, it can be very close or it can be run away. And the same thing is true of Marquette. So I'm very excited for this rematch because these are both teams that take the game very seriously, have some really interesting takes on, the strategies that they want to employ. Plus, we're starting off on an overpass, but the next up is we get to see Nuke. And I'm always really excited when we get to, break up some of the more common picks that we've seen, which tend to be overpass, Inferno, and Vertigo, especially, with Mirage in there as well, as you would expect. But here we go as we start off the round. Marquette on the CT side, Colorado choosing to play it slow, starting to push up towards that A site. You can already see Marquette sussing that out and starting to make that rotation.
Colorado going up connector and onto A again. What a surprise. Marquette have done their homework, though, and are knocking down everybody. Down goes every single player pushing onto the site. Creature being the sub in for Fancy Lad, the lone player to not push early on, and will be left in a 1 versus 5. We'll find one. Alter will be the only one to fall, but I believe you'll take that just about every day of the week. That is a very, very good showing for Marquette on the pistol. They take it. They lose only 1 player. They keep 2 pieces of armor up. Just Rich can even upgrade as they took 0 damage. This is looking good for the Marquette defense.
It is a great opening statement from the side of Marquette, but the question, of course, is can they hold on to that? Colorado, not known for just taking it laying down, so we're seeing them moving hard through that connector area again, but we see the Marquette team ready for it with the double peak. Mandalore and Prod taking out 4 of the players. Kettle from behind. Oof, there's new names that I'm trying to keep up on.
Yeah, I'm new here too. Don't worry. We're doing okay.
This is the first time that I think that we've seen Kettle, right?
Yes, Kettle. Wait, hold up. I feel like Kettle is someone that we've seen before, but is on an alternate faced account. Give me a second, because I was only told that Fancy Lad was being subbed for. Give me a second. I'm gonna check on that one.
In the meantime, Marquette feeling pretty good at a 2-0 right now, full-scale rifles, but Colorado now also with their AKs and a reasonable amount of utility. But the bombs all the way back in T-spawn is somebody forgot to pick that up. So they're going to slow down a little bit, not quite ready to execute out there. Marquette playing in much more aggressive positions, as we can see over towards the graffiti area and playing up towards bathrooms. Right now, Colorado content to just sit and see what happens, see if Marquette gets a little aggressive, as they are ought to do. And for the time being, nobody moving.
No, nobody's really trying to gain some ground. You don't want to overextend in these situations, especially if you're on the T side, but Mandalore does that on the CT side and will fall early. The opening pick goes the way of Colorado. This time around, they need to do so. Unfortunately, they cannot follow up, as DB Cozy will be dropped. This is a good showing, at least early on, for Marquette. This is their bonus round, so they're not fully expected to win this, but if they do, they are expected to do very... Oh my goodness, Prod doesn't see him. Oh, okay, Prod. Oh my goodness, Prod gave me a heart attack, but we're good to go. He's good to go, most importantly. And Marquette have the man advantage. They do have 2 rifles, one of those being a FAMAS, and you have a Scout, which is kind of a rifle, but not really. They're looking to push onto this B side, though, on the Colorado side, and they're being shut down. Alter even flashed, gets the kill, and it's down to a 2 versus 4. Again, not looking great for Colorado, especially with yet another frag for Alter, just building up the cash, building up the kills. There is a 4K on the round for Alter. That is, what, a lot of money in the bank. $2,400, plus a round win, plus a rifle. Marquette are looking great.
Very much so. I think that feels it's got to feel pretty good, especially because they're missing their team leader Biggs right now, who's out for break. So the cool thing about Marquette that we've always talked about in the analysis is that they have specific packages that they use for the different maps that they play. So being able to account for the fact that Migs isn't there to play IGL, even though that isn't always the case depending on the map, that's going pretty well for them. So there are a lot of Deagles out on the side of Colorado right now in response to that third round loss to Marquette and the previous one. So they're going to see what kind of damage they can do. But at the moment, again, just kind of content looking for information and seeing a lot of spamming through both. No shots really connecting, except just a tiny bit of damage on RC. And now Cozy goes down to Mandalore in bathrooms, and Colorado still kind of spread out looking for some sort of answer. But a couple pixels are going to tip off Mandalore, going to trigger just a mild reaction. Also able to trade out for creatures, getting that second kill. And Colorado's down to just 2 Deagles and a prayer.
I don't even know if a prayer will do it for them. They need to go become just like Catholic ministers at that point, or whatever minister you do praise. Wow, this is a dire situation. I think this really just confirms that Migs is bad. That's all this comes down to. I'm only saying that because I slightly know Migs and I see him in chat, so I'm making fun of him intentionally. But it's really nice to see Marquette able to make these adjustments, especially without one of their main players that is really notable, at least for us here in the booth. And in another 4 versus 1 scenario, Kettle is in a nay impossible scenario with just a Deagle, now an AK, but no armor and no life. Marquette with 4 in a row, losing just a single rifle in that 4th round of play. They are, I've said it before, I'll say it again, they're looking really strong in the CT zone.
So the goal is to keep this up. I think we've seen Colorado play from this position a lot, where despite the fact that they are the top team in the league, they have been in positions, or probably more commonly than you would think, ended up just finding their footing, we'll say, a little bit slower in the opening round of the first map. But as soon as they've kind of figured out what the issue is, they come back in a big way. Kettle taking out Mandalore, pushing through the smoke, creature answering to prod, and all of a sudden Colorado is looking to do exactly what I was talking about, right? Find their footing and be aggressive. Lots of nades and pushing out onto the A site as they start their execution, and there's no one really there to answer them with a smoke blocking off the player at Dumpster. So they're going to take over the site. They're going to get that bomb down in a moment, and it's going to be up to Marquette as to whether they think this is worth going back for or not.
That is a 4-second bomb plant. I just want to quickly highlight that. They just pushed through. They had a 4-second setup, a 4-second bomb plant, because every time you plant a bomb it takes 4 seconds unless you for some reason decide to fake it. And that's a round. That'll do it already here for the Colorado side. They will take their first round of the game, albeit it was labored, and this is their map pick. I think that's one of the most notable things. Nuke is selected by Marquette, so you want to keep that in mind. Marquette are prepared for a map that maybe Colorado isn't. Of course, we know Colorado's very good at the game, and Kettle just tried to get a jumping shot. He hit one, but it was to the toes and didn't do all that much. One shot goes their way. Just Rich gets another and actually only saves a single AK. So the rifles have been taken away. Colorado do some economic damage. They pick up their first round. Overall, not a bad showing.
Not at all. I think that's exactly the type of thing that you have to be able to do, is not only get your first round on the board, but do it in a way that feels convincing. And they certainly took that round and ended up putting Marquette in a position where it only made sense for them to save, and by hunting afterwards, they certainly punished the lack of preparedness and togetherness that we saw there. So like you said, they only carried 1 rifle into this, but they did have enough cash to go for a second one. But Prod, doing his best to hold down long, does take out 1 before traded out by Cozy, and now the Colorado side feeling like they don't really need to be in that much of a hurry, but they are going to be looking for some of these other players. Mandalore taking out Kettle as he pushes up towards bathrooms. And Colorado might be rethinking their positioning just a little bit, as they're down 2 players and almost a third with them. RC. And as I say that, Creature take off Remy's head as he tries to jump spot over Dice, but Mandalore is still playing aggressively up in Bathrooms, gets the 1K, gets a second one just before he's taken out by RC. This did not, I didn't think that was going to go that direction. There's just a lot of things happening there.
I'm about as surprised as you are, but this round is not over. RC's still alive. 11 HP is not the worst scenario. You could be on 1, and oh no! Bring your gun out! He didn't see him. He's gonna die here. He's dead. He's dead. He's so dead. So very dead. What? He doesn't go down connector. Wait a second. He tried to fake it, but they know he's not faking it. Just Rich is just sitting in connector. RC needs to go buy a lottery ticket before he walks into the crosshairs of Alter, which will inevitably happen. Alter's just sitting here with an op. 11 HP is not the worst scenario. Like I said, you're facing up against an op. Oh no, he still got it. It's now down to a 1 versus 1. He's not planning the correct position for Just Rich's flank, but he's still in a good spot. He still has his back turn. Turn around! Turn around! He's gonna die! No, he's in a good spot now. Tyler, heart palpitations. That's what this is giving me.
Yeah, I don't really have the words to describe it. I mean, there's just a lot of luck going in his direction, but he's caught where that is, and that was a very quick end to RC's incredible, luckily retake. I mean, that was a great shot to take the site originally, but like you said, just barely avoiding Just Rich in Conwin with such low HP. It's a wonder that didn't happen sooner. But Colorado was able to get the bomb down. That's going to give them an opportunity to continue buying into this round and try to claw back a little bit more. Marquette on the CT side does have a bit of an advantage. Of course, they're up 5-1 right now, so Colorado is still looking for any way that they can kind of break through that defense and try to make sure that they're not letting that slip away too far, because at the end, it doesn't matter. But Alter getting the double kill on a Kettle and RC, that's 2 major players on the side of Colorado off the board in just the opening seconds.
That took very little time. What's that term? Killing 2 birds with 1 stone. For some reason, we felt the need to go after animals with inanimate objects and make it a saying. But hey, it works, I suppose. Nice op shot to open things up. And Colorado are on the back foot and even further back on it. They are in a 2 versus 5, almost a 1 versus 5. Remy missed a shot, but there's a nice Molotov. It'll force the position out for DB Cozy. Nice shot, though, from Creature. The op being picked up this time by the Creature coming through. Fancy that, of course, not being here for this game. We'll see how that turns out. Cozy, you gotta hit those shots. That's a little unfortunate. And now the aforementioned Opper isn't a 1 versus 4. An ace clutch scenario for the super sub coming through.
That's a rough place for Colorado to be in, and I'm sure that they would have preferred to have a much stronger start to this map, but not the end of it. Although Just Rich, he's sneaky, he's got that sound cue, and Creature just has no idea what to expect, so they're going to lose that op, which is going to put them in a bit of a tough position in terms of keeping up with that firepower. They do have enough to buy into this. As you can see, the AK is already coming out on the side of Colorado, but they're going to be short a scoped rifle. And they're going to have 1 Galil, and it looks like Creature is opting for the Tech 9 in order to potentially buy back to that op if they win this. On the side of Marquette, though, they're doing all right.
Remember when I was opening sticker capsules earlier?
I do.
That play was sneaky beaky play. That's all it comes down to. Kettle, nice shot onto Mandalore, and sometimes you just have to play quietly. With the op, you're not going to. Another nice shot for Remy. There's a double. Needs more, though, and the op will still hold above, but he's forced forward. This is a difficult position. Remy's down to 30 health off of that single Molotov. This is not a good scenario for really either team. Remy's in an awkward position. The entirety of Colorado is on an awkward island on the site. The bomb is still down. It will be tossed up, so that's at least some caveat, but they haven't gotten the bomb down. Finally, they will, but the flank is already set up, and Cozy reads Remy perfectly. That's exactly what you need if you're Colorado. Now with 3 versus 2 favoring the T side in a map that hasn't favored them thus far.
This is still really dangerous for Colorado because there are 2 hungry Marquette players looking for something, but Kettle equalizes it even further, or puts it in their favor even more by taking out Prod, and now it's just Alter with that MP9 doing his best from that construction area. He does find Kettle, but there's not going to be enough time for him to run in and get that, but he's going to do as much damage as he can taking out Aratoshi. Cozy puts an end to it, but that was a precarious round, I think, in the way that it ended up, with a lot of damage that I'm sure Colorado wished they could get back.
You know, I am no mathematician, and I don't have the AI assistance, but the odds of him winning that round were very slim to none due to time and a 1 versus 3. But getting 2 kills and racking up $1,200 in the process off of that SMG bonus is something I think you'll take. In this situation, I don't like Marquette buying 3 rifles and then rushing with those 3 rifles. This is not a great scenario for them. I don't know if Creature's going to hear them. He has. He has indeed. Smoke has been dropped to annex that, and oh, in comes this push. Everybody's on the B site already. The flank is being prepped from the get-go, and Prod misses an open opportunity.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect positioning, able only to get 1 surprisingly. So now there's 3 players on the side of Marquette just charging in towards that site, and they are continuing to try to find something. They're able to trade back and forth. Remy able to take out Kettle before he goes down to RC, and now it's still 3 Colorado players, so they got to feel pretty good about that as Alter just tries to do a little bit of damage similar to what he did in the last round. But ultimately the changeup, while interesting, like you said, that sound cue just gave him away and put Colorado in a position to be prepared for that and ultimately take their 3rd round. But it's still 6-2-3 in favor of Marquette. And as a result of that, Colorado is still playing from a position of disadvantage. And that certainly doesn't give them a whole lot of room to mess around and kind of continue to waffle back and forth as we've seen so far.
At this point, Marquette are waffling about as much as the word extends. They're just all hanging out in bathrooms. They will disperse, but yeah, this is not going to be a 1 round for them, at least not if it's played correctly by Colorado. If they throw away this round, I'm scared for the rest of this one. Seems like they'll be okay. Creature does open the door. Oh no, the op is missed! He still hits the shot. He hits another as well. Why the heck not? Pull out the Glock, get 2. Eritoshi gets 2 as well. Looking for the full house of frags. It's Creature over top of Eritoshi. 3 and 2 respectively. Colorado win the anti-eco, and they do exactly what they need to, dropping absolutely no one in the process and keeping the money well and truly in their favor. Apologies, by the way, for the console commands. I'm trying something. It didn't work, so feels bad.
Well, Marquette seeing their gap closing just a little bit on the side of Colorado. Colorado going a little bit harder towards that B bomb site, leaving that lurker in the mid space. But they're just going to push through that smoke, and that's going to be the end of them as Just Rich sprays down 3 of the Colorado team. And now with only 2 members left of Colorado, this round seems over before it even really got started.
I can't believe they all lined up like that. Usually when there's a smoke and you hear people running, you hold down mouse 1. It's exactly what Just Rich did, and, well, they line up for him. That's not a great scenario for Colorado. Usually you want to split that, try and put 2 players towards Monster, 3 pressure that short position, and then you're in a good spot. But now they're so dispersed. 1 player in blue, 1 walking around that playground position, and Prod is splitting them right down the middle, but is about to get caught in timing. He is. He will fall. Shot is missed originally. Eritoshi, you're supposed to hit those. Those were things we call a sure thing. That's not a sure thing. What a shot from Creature, predicting it perfectly. Remy jumps up and over and will fall as the 2nd player on Colorado to do so. 3rd, actually, as my math is completely. No, it's I'm just looking at the wrong side. Don't mind me. You've kept me in the production dungeon too long.
It's better that way.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Things have slowed down a little bit now that Colorado is still on their back foot, but like you said, they have managed to equalize it just a little bit, taking out both Remy and Prod. So Just Rich, Alter, and Mandalore remain on the Marquette side, and Colorado giving away just a little bit of a sound cue, and they know that they've got to go for it. So you're going to see that utility come out, the early flash from the side of Marquette trying to do something, and Just Rich able to take out Creature, and that combined effort. Doesn't matter that Eritoshi is able to take out Alter because Just Rich on the flank able to just immediately trade that out. So Colorado still in it, still getting closer by the round and making them feel a lot closer than we saw in some of those earlier rounds. But still in favor of Marquette.
I'd like to see Marquette try and expand this, especially with how much we know Colorado will take massive control on their CT side. This is their map pick. They are the best team in EGF as it stands. very close with Marquette and DePaul, and then there's a giant gap to the midfield. But these are the three teams that we've seen thus far take massive control, and that's because of shots like that. Creature, a nice opener, but they need to be able to build off of this on the Colorado side. They cannot allow Marquette back into this one. That Molotov misses, so they're unaware of whether barrels is clear or not. They do try and clear water, but they're not favoring this B side anymore. 3 players making strides up towards A. The bomb is down towards the T main entrance towards B. Colorado, make a decision, and hopefully the decision isn't to die, because that's not good.
That is indeed not good. It does seem like something that's happened several times on the side of Colorado, and I assume that that's just because they're looking at it and say, hey, we're going to put out some feelers towards each site, see what happens, and just make the rotation back through T-spawn. It obviously is a much longer rotation, but it's a little bit safer than, say, going through Con. So they are, of course, kind of regrouping as we see the aggression moving towards that A site, seeing the setup for smokes, and they assume the execution comes in quickly thereafter. So Colorado making the commitment to this site is going to see Marquette only there with one person by truck and the other moving up towards bank. But Mandalore not able to hold on, but with everything smoked off, Marquette has no choice but to just sit and wait for those to clear and hope that they can take it back with just 3. But Remy going down to Kettle. Oof. That's a tough break for earlier in the round, but that spam spot it just betrays Marquette's positioning. And so Just Rich and Alter seeing if they can pick anything up from Bank, but with Colorado spread out the way they have, Kettle comes in and takes out Just Rich and Alter to clean that up, and Colorado puts the 5th round on the board for the first half of Overpass.
Colorado can still win this half. I think if Colorado win this half, this map is over, for the sole reason that Colorado has such a dominant CT side that it's not even a conversation of whether Marquette's going to win their T half. It's a conversation of whether they're going to stay alive. Nothing against Marquette. They're a really good team on both sides, just Colorado is better. Sometimes it just comes down to the team diff. We'll see if Fancy Lad not being on that CT side and having Creature being on that aggressive op rather than the passive one is going to cost them, because we've seen Creature get aggressive with that AWP on the T side. That's usually what you have to do. It is the T side, but we'll see if that playstyle transitions as they head onto the defensive half, because you know the old classic oppers usually don't transition that ability. Device, all of you know, at least played on Astralis, supposed to be playing on NIP right now, is a very defensive opper, does not get aggressive like Kenny S used to, like we saw Guardian do, and really like we see Simple and a couple others do as of right now. That's not their playstyle. We'll see if that playstyle converts as you switch sides. I think that's going to be the main pivotal thing for Colorado. If you don't see that Fancy Lad style-esque defensive op, their CT side's going to be a little bit more difficult than it usually would be with Fancy Lad in the game, but Creature making, I believe, their 2nd showing here in EGF for Colorado, it's going to be a challenge for them to try and adapt.
Sure it can be, and Marquette going for the light buy means that we've got that Nova out there, which can be one of just the most annoying weapons to have to contend with. But Prod putting down a little bit of damage and ultimately winning out in the battle over Cozy, but Creature on the op runs over, finishes off with a Glock, and says goodbye to that. But you know, it's still the Nova. It's still a little bit of extra cash in the pocket of Prod, as they have bought down to almost nothing with the expectation of, I assume, a double save. Creature throws away the AK, makes sure that there's no opportunity to pick that up and cause some damage as Colorado continues that slow march towards both sites just to see what happens. And we still see the bomb sitting back towards T-spawn, maintaining that position of rotation. But it may not matter because RC and Kettle both getting kills on 2 different sites, meaning this split push is, kind of putting them in a position where they control everything of value so far.
This is a massive advantageous position for Colorado. This is exactly what they need in between this transitional period of the half, and it is the final 3 rounds of the half, this being one of those final 3. Just Rich is left in a 1 versus 4, as integers seem to be the theme of the day. He will fall, only finding 1. It's not a great situation. They don't do enough economic damage to make it a good round. Colorado will be able to buy up in the final 2 rounds, regardless of their outcomes. This is a good situation for the Buffs, but can they win the half? That is the question.
they're certainly in a great position to do that, certainly better than they have been in previous parts of this. And I'm just going to keep saying things like that. But right now, Colorado looks great. They've got a lot of momentum. Obviously, the position that they force Marquette into in terms of the economy is potentially dangerous, but that aggression up towards mid is going to net them 1 kill, although they've been traded out now by Creature and RC. Creature taking out the second on Remy, so they're not going to have the opportunity to pick up that weapon. And the remaining 2 Marquette players in long bathrooms. Just Rich just keeps a few more bullets in the magazine and takes out RC. So Just Rich going to be able to go get that weapon potentially, as they're just trying to sneak around and keep to themselves as much as they can. But we see it looks like Eritoshi just sitting there waiting for him to try to pick up one of those guns and seeing what he can do. But Just Rich, if he gets this AK, which he does, is just going to try to hold on to it as the rest of Colorado starts to turtle around the bomb, just because Just Rich can create some problems, and they just want to come away with this as much as possible. And like you said, they win this, they're going to come up 7-7 and still have the opportunity to take this half 8 with 8 rounds.
I may be in the minority here, but if I'm Colorado, I'm hunting for this rifle. I don't know where the heck Just Rich is. You have to assume that Just Rich has the rifle in hand, and you need to take it away, because look at Marquette's money. To say the least, it's not great. They've lost a few in a row, so they will have a loss bonus, but saving over this rifle, excuse me, will allow them to buy up even more than they usually would be able to. It does not look like the buffs are going to go hunting. That does seem to be the case. Eritoshi, do you clear this corner? He may! Oh, no, he doesn't get the kill. Oh, Just Rich gets it. Colorado do win their 7th, but the AK is saved over. Of course, it's like $5,500 a player, but it would have been nice to take that away, possibly deny a couple pieces of utility. I don't want to do math off the top of my head, because when I do it on stream, it usually doesn't go well, but I'm pretty sure that would have taken away like a single piece of utility, maybe 2.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure Colorado was, looking at their current economy and thinking, we don't really want to deal with having to rebuy everyone, and that certainly can get expensive, especially given that Marquette players tend to not like to go quietly, as we saw at the end of that round. So they're going to open this up. Just Rich getting aggressive, pushing through Monster, finds RC coming out of water, and now Colorado is going to start off 4-5, but still very much in this fight to get that 8th round of the half. They continue to play in this sort of poke and prod situation, but they already are moving out there. Creature feeling out that Just Rich is going to continue with that aggression and pushes in. Kettle, while on the B site, takes out Remy, and all of a sudden Colorado is opening up both of these sites. Sorry, excuse me, the B site, as they continue to push that aggression in, and Kettle pushing through, takes out Mandalore, puts down the Molly, making it impossible for a CT to follow. And Colorado's already set up for success on this B site in their 8th round of the half.
I don't know how the heck he pulled that one off. Game sense on Creature is insane, and unfortunately Prod does not share that attribute to his game. Alter, 1 versus now 3, as he does find 1. It's a 4K clutch scenario, but he has to find the op on Creature along with Kettle and DB Cozy. What is that? No way. No way he hits that shot. Okay. Tyler, while I'm at a loss for words, you have fun.
Well, it's a great way to end the half. Obviously, for Colorado, it feels good to go into something when you're ahead always, especially carrying that momentum, as they've won, most of the last rounds going into this. So Colorado up 1 round is going to try to continue this and close it out. And this is kind of the classic thing that we see from Colorado. You might think that you've got, a pretty competitive game, which with Marquette we certainly would expect. But if you give them too much opportunity to find themselves into it, they have a tendency to just build a crazy amount of momentum and win out. So Marquette is going to try to answer here by pushing a bunch of aggression through the A long position, go straight into the A site. Colorado, you can see, already kind of positioned behind them as RC goes for that bathroom shot. They're going to see those opening trades. They're not going to think of RC coming through, and that's going to end Prod's life. So now Marquette still not quite with the bomb down, trying to defend and plant at the same time. Finally, it's going to go down. We've got multiple players coming in. They get over onto site, onto truck. Kello goes down. Preacher goes down. RC the only one left against against Alter and Just Rich. So they know where he is. They know how they're going to play. They've got that crossfire available to them. And just a couple missed shots are going to give them an opening to start positioning differently. Alter ending RC's life and is going to make sure that they don't have the opportunity to pull much further ahead, equalizing it 8-8 in favor. 8-8, not to everyone.
Not to everyone? Well, it is 8-8 to
Not
everyone.
Naught.
Okay. The wrong not. I'm a little surprised that Alter just played the round like he did. I don't know if you noticed that, but he missed like 19 shots and then hit 3 that he really shouldn't have. It was really night and day in that situation, and I'm a little surprised about that, especially coming from Marquette. We'll see if that changes this time around. RC a nice opener, but Prod will turn that back. Mag 7 for Kettle. This is ballsy, especially up against a PP bias on the side. Mandalore down to 21. What is that? All right, Tyler, this is why you keep me in the production booth, because everything just shocks me at this point. Like, Mandalore hitting that shot, we saw the shot from Creature earlier, and then Alter hitting 3 headshots and missing 17,000 body shots in the same process. This is Marquette in Colorado. I think that's just enough to sum it up in a nutshell.
Yes. I mean, it's really as simple as that. But Marquette obviously in a great position right now with their SMGs on the second round of this half. Prod is going to get an easy kill on a Cozy who just doesn't check right corners, not expecting someone to be there at the time. So Creature has picked up that AK, so it's going to just go ahead and save that, maybe try to do a little bit of extra damage. We see Mandalore out here with a PP Bison trying to hunt, and to see Creature there able to just get the the drop on him from Playground. This is probably not going to be any more conflict, but you see Remy out here expecting and looking for Creature to potentially peek out. But we are going to see an otherwise uneventful end to the half. So Marquette actually going back to taking the lead, able to go up 9-8. Colorado on the CT side now thinking about what their first, probably not what their first buy is going to be, but you see a little bit of investment just to buy up around the AK that Creature picked up. So a surprisingly quiet game so far from Aratoshi, who is, alongside the rest of the Colorado players, someone you usually see it. So we're going to see maybe a little bit more impact coming out of there. But so far, the aggression from Colorado is going to pay off with Prod going down to Creature and 3 players from Colorado pushing up into that. But with that, they do take a little bit of damage, but they are going to get away without taking any major losses.
Artoshi's the only one on the B site right now, just playing around the water position, flanking around. Justrich gets the kill, will take some damage, but not enough to be lethal. There is the flank set up in towards short. It's just Alter waiting for the push coming through from DB Cozy. The flash is avoided, and, well, DB Cozy does not check the corner close enough nor quick enough. This should be a Marquette round, but I've said should way too many times in this series, and for that exact reason, Creature's now in this 1 versus 2. It will not land, but it was a good round from Colorado. They did some economic damage, forcing now Marquette to completely reinvest. This will be a true gun round between the two teams, and one that almost certainly decides the fate of the next few rounds as well. Colorado picked this up, Marquette are broke. If Marquette picked this up, Colorado can half buy and then buy again, but just there, you're up to 12 rounds.
It is. So this is going to be the first real test for Marquette on the T side with Colorado out there. You see them being continually more aggressive, trying to see what they can get from it. Alter just makes short work of Creature, who had originally taken out Justrich in that water position. A missed flash is going to make it a little bit more difficult to deal with some of that aggression. But hey, it happens. Everybody's thrown a nade into a wall, and you just kind of sit there for a second and think about what you've done. Cozy seeing those Tootsies is going to take out Cozy, and that's going to be just one more player down from the side of Marquette. So Colorado probably feeling pretty good so far to this, but we see Prod sneaking up long, and he's about to run into Kettle. Initial engagement doesn't go anywhere, but that flash comes out, and Kettle just spraying through it. It's going to take out Prod as he tries to get onto that A site. So this is feeling significantly more disjointed as the round just kind of falling apart for Marquette.
Mandalore was looking for the bomb where it wasn't, but he still picked it up. This is not an awful situation for Marquette. Each player gets 2 kills, and you're into a 2 versus 2. But, you can say that in just about every scenario. Hey, it's a 5 versus 5. If everybody gets 1 kill, you win the round. It's not that easy. They'll see if they can develop onto this B side. Out goes a flash. It does not land. Not well enough, at least. Aratoshi will get the kill across, and Alter will fall. Mandalore now in a 1 versus 4. It's possible, albeit improbable, and for that exact reason, Aratoshi will get yet another. They're second on the round, and Colorado's first in the half. It's actually winning the first half. Now Marquette are broke, at least almost everyone on Marquette is broke. Remy does have money, and they will actually invest into this round. It will be an investment from Marquette. If they lose this, then they won't have anything, and they'll have to almost certainly double save, if not save and then force.
Yeah, and I mean that's a simple math, right? If you know that you're gonna have to save anyways, you might as well make an investment and see what you can make out of it. And they do have some good tools, especially being aware of the fact that Colorado, especially Kettle here, has been more aggressive and with limited support from their side. So they're going to push hard up into this long area. They're going to try to find an opening in Colorado, especially because Kettle still doesn't realize where they are. But Remy goes down early to Kettle there. They are, however, made it onto site, although they're going down very quickly, not able to contend with everything that's happening. But Alter says, forget about it. 2 quick 1-digs to the dome. It gives just like a window, a sliver of hint before the round ultimately goes to Colorado. So great plays on both sides there, but hats off to Alter for those shots.
Unfortunately, inconsequential. They do us some economic damage. It turned from a 4 versus 1 to a 2 versus 1. I'm still surprised he hit the first one, much less the second on the spin. Nice exact movements, but it is going to be a save coming through. You're going to force up an upgraded pistol or 2, most specifically 2, a Tech 9 and a P250, and that's a smoke that's missed. Unfortunately, Creature thought it was going to land inside of that Molotov. The Molotov dissipated, the smoke went too far. And now that's some information that is not in the favor of Colorado. This will be a kill that's in their favor, though, as because you will get the opener. This should be a secured Colorado round. But, again, I said the word should again, and oh no, RC has not turned around. This is so difficult. Mandalore, RC still wins the fight. Oh, he had the Glock. That's...
Yeah, a little bit of a mismatch there for the opportunity, but hey, you do what you can with what you got. Which, unfortunately, for Marquette is not a lot this moment. Prod still has the opportunity to potentially do something, but he doesn't have the bomb, so it's not going to be a lot. His choices are go in there, try to do something with the Tech 9, or just save it. But given that they don't have the bomb down, that's going to be a loss of income, so it's certainly better to just try to do whatever damage he can. So we see him already jumping onto the B site and pushing up there, but there are 2 rifles trained on Monster, so the likelihood of them finding value out of that, not huge. And we see those feet popping out of that tunnel. Prod goes down very quickly to Creature, and that's a quiet end to the round.
Unfortunate quiet end, but a quiet end nonetheless. Marquette will call a timeout here. They need to deduce what the heck they want to do. You can see there is money available for everyone. Everybody can buy an AK, armor, and almost full utility. It's almost on 3 players, full on the other 2. But I think it's more of not what do we want to buy, but what do we want to do with the buy we're going to have. Because Marquette has not had anything work since Colorado picked up rifles. That's just the unfortunate matter of what we're English is hard. What we're looking at here. I'd like to see Colorado try and build off of this, but at the same time, I want to see a close game. I want to see Marquette steal this round away, make Colorado next to broke on 3 of their players, and force them into a difficult position where do they want to save or do they want to try and force-ish and buy for next?
Certainly possible. The way that we've seen these games going, especially when we got into this top 3, is always a bit of a toss-up, right? You've seen all both Marquette, Colorado, and DePaul all trading rounds and maps and all sorts of things, and just doing an excellent job across the board. And we certainly love to see close maps. And right now, it really couldn't be any closer, which is a really exciting place to be.
Yeah, 1 round differential on an even round count. That's an opener, though, and this seems like a round that's going to favor... Wait a second. Marquette's turned it back. Hold the phone. Stop the presses. Remy has gotten yet another. However, he's now dead, and why not, RC? Just kill him through the smoke. Why the heck not, right? Alter, now in a 1 versus 2, has the bomb, has a little bit of time. By a little bit of time, I mean almost the entirety of the remainder of the round. They will try and boost up and over. Oh, they're going to try the pixel boost. Up and over they go! Oh, does he have it? He does. What a shot from RC. Alter will fall. Colorado take the lead. Marquette are forced into a forced buy situation yet again, and Colorado double their lead. Somebody put an NSFW filter on the stream.
It was a really difficult decision to be made there at the end, trying to figure out, like, where those players are, but where do you plant and where do you do it safe? And you don't always expect the boost, but when you got 2 players, I mean, what are you gonna do? So the irony of having selected the right position, only to pause and go back for the second was a little bit rough. But here we are back. Colorado up 12-10. They're going for the super aggressive. I don't know if they realize that Prod is in playground, but certainly he's going to get those sound cues in just with the perfect amount. It's going to give the double spray down. The double headshot takes out Prod, and this is going to give them a great start to the round. Well, otherwise, on the other side of the map, Alter goes down is the first player from Marquette. So they are moving up with Khalil's, and just good timing. They're getting some good damage there, but nothing that is sealing around for them in any particular order yet. See a couple nades out, doing great amount of damage as Mandalore was not prepared for that peak, and Creature takes another member of the Marquette team off the board as third. Oof. That's a rough place to be, but Just Rich able to take out Cozy, secures the B bomb site. Just Rich taking the rotating Aratoshi out from Graffiti, and Marquette has control of this bomb site, and Creature, understanding where it is, tries to the peak, loses the aim battle. That was an excellent round for Marquette, keeping it very, very close and making sure that they're never more than a round or two out of this game, and certainly in position to still potentially win if Colorado are to stumble.
Marquette have had the lead 2 times throughout this map. Right now, between this round and last round, and then, of course, when they took the lead going into halftime. Past then, it's been Marquette's game, and unfortunately, it hasn't been consistently Marquette's game. Colorado has had a lot of the momentum in their favor, and that's how they've been able to build back a little bit better. Marquette, in a 4 versus 5, the opener not going their way, and they really needed that opener. Both teams really need the opener in this round. Both do not have the economy to survive a loss, at least not if they want to win the following round. Handedly, I suppose. Just Rich falls as well. I'm not going to say this is a Colorado round, because the last time I said that, Marquette won it, but it's certainly not looking good.
Hey, we've got plenty of rounds left for this to happen, and I mean, even with not a lot of equipment or cash, a couple pistols can do a world of difference, especially in Overpass, which we've talked about. Can just do some craziness. RC trying to get a knife fight going there, ultimately just doesn't go the way. But I'm sure gave them a scare. I mean, you have to, right? You don't expect people to end up behind you like that. Kettle takes out Alter on the A site, leaving just Remy against the 3 remaining Colorado players. So not feeling so hot, I'm sure, in terms of Marquette's opportunities to pull this particular round out of it. So Colorado likely to go up to 13, and Marquette starting to feel that news tight a little bit as they try to figure out what's the answer for the last couple of rounds, and as they see their last couple of opportunities to take the first map starting to slip away.
I don't know, you're trying to figure out what the answer is. Hopefully it's multiple choice. I usually guess C, but I think C is when you can't see a thing, and when you get naded, Remy cannot. Colorado reestablish their 2-round lead, and they take some economic control, as Marquette will be forced onto either a save or a very errant force buy. I think it should be... Oh, no, they're going to buy... Oh. Why?
YOLO is why.
At that point, I'd give up 14, though. You'd want to play for the win. If you lose this, you're certainly playing for a tie. Look at the money on Marquette. They don't have enough money for everyone to buy. Just Rich is forced onto utility, a deagle, and full armor. Alter almost certainly onto an SMG, maybe a Galil. There's the SMG. I
think it's a reasonable gamble, and I say that because what we've seen in some of the previous rounds, given the last 6 rounds have been a little bit more tedious, obviously the majority of them going to Colorado. This is something where if they're playing it right, especially if they're going hard aggression, which is what it seems like they're going towards that A site with, as long as you have something, the range doesn't matter all that much. So they're going to push through that. They're going to smoke down, but Cozy takes out the first and the second, and then is just a very expensive 2-for-1 trade there. But Alter with that Mag 10 doing a lot of damage to Aratoshi. But you were right. I mean, they made the gamble and it could have worked, but they just weren't quite prepared for coming out of Monster, and without an answer short, that's a difficult position to be in. And Remy is forced to try to survive for now 75 seconds. but I don't think Colorado's going to want to let that happen.
No, and they won't. Nice shot from RC to close things out. The reason I was so critical of that scenario is because now Colorado has a certain round win. At best, Marquette buy up a couple pistols. They do have max loss bonus, so they can buy down to $2,000 and have a full buy in the following round, regardless of the outcome, whether there's a bomb plant or not. There's the call, they buy down to $2,000. But in the previous round, they could have saved, and this could have been a full buy, and the next could have been a little bit more because they would have had residual cash left over. They don't make that call, and I think that was the wrong call in this situation because this is a one round for Colorado. They will be able to build up economy off of this. They should not lose that many rifles, if any at all. And now Marquette are facing match point almost certainly. Unless Alter goes insane and hits 5 shots similar to the 2 he hit prior, I don't see this turning into a round that favors the Marquette side. But I've been wrong before. I'd love to be proven wrong here. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to happen.
Well, like you said before, never say never. Marquette is still going to try to do the best that they can, but RC just kind of sitting in that position is going to have them line up perfectly. Remy and Just Rich, unfortunately, go down to RC and leaving just Alter. But like you said, Alter's had some pretty sick shots with that Deagle before, but whether or not he can find those angles.
Oh!
Finds the first one. That's Creature down on the B site, and that now Colorado knows where they are. They're going to start throwing flashes and are going to go after him just to try to end this. But Alter, of course, not looking to see that happen, but unfortunately not able to find a second kill before Cozy ends his life without much ceremony. So Marquette now facing match point. Colorado now lost only 1 round so far, or 1 out of the last 7. So it's looking pretty good for the momentum that they've picked up.
Yeah, as soon as they picked up rifles, they started picking up rounds. They've lost, like you said, only the 1. That's a missed Molotov, though, so that's a way for Marquette to build off of this. They don't gain the ground for the wasted $600 or the $400, depending on whether you picked up a Molotov. But there's also sound cues. Molotov, again, dropped over towards that connector position. They hear things, and they hear the push. Flashbang over, but RC dropped the smoke already. You're prepping the shot straight through it, and because you have the suppressor, the tracers will not be shown. Ultimately, I don't think it's really going to matter, but Marquette have a decent bit of A control, and they can build off of this.
Yeah, they're going to take it slowly. They're going to be careful about where they are, and they're going to look for those pixels, and getting a little bit of spray through there is going to give just that tiny bit of damage from Prod onto Creature and RC as they try to do something. Mandalore does get RC out of it, but Creature and Kettle return in kind. Just Rich trading the kill. So we're back to equals on both sides, but all of the Marquette players are favoring that A site. You're going to see the rotation from Colorado. Just Rich considering the position of going back to connector, and Marquette seems to favor the idea of thinking B sounds like a good idea. I'm sure we triggered that rotation, so let's try our luck elsewhere. You see them kind of bunched up in that connector area right now, looking at water, which is going to be a little bit of a difficult execution, especially because the Colorado team has caught on to what's happening, taking just a little bit too long for that rotation. So Marquette's going to try to do whatever they possibly can, but Cozy catching just a couple of those pixels, see what happens. Creature takes out 2 of them, Cozy on the 3rd, and that is the first map to Colorado, 16-11.
They will take the first, and they do so handedly. That's exactly what this Colorado side needed. They walk away with it, and it wasn't easy by any means, but they were able to pull it off. I think that's the most important part of this. It was certainly a labored play for them, but I like the fact that they were able to push through it, especially once they picked up the rifles. Marquette were really good in the early half, and then they lost 8 of 9 rounds. Not very good.
Hey, it happens. We've all been there, right? But I mean, I think this is the matchup that we were hoping for, right? It's 2 really great teams doing really great work across the board. And I think the key to Colorado is always shutting down their momentum and not letting them get into a position like we saw at the second on the second half, where they started to string together rounds. And once they get going, they're just like, a big boulder rolling downhill. No pun intended. They're just very difficult to stop once they get going. However, the same can be true for Marquette. So we're going to go into the next map, which is Nuke, pretty shortly. And we're going to see if Marquette can answer to that. They've certainly done some pretty crazy things as we've seen them play through that map before. So we're going to take a quick break, let the teams reset, and don't go anywhere because we're excited to see what they can do on Nuke.
It's our second game of our second series as we kick off Nuke between Colorado and Marquette. Y'all thought I had this up because I was crazy. I was just foreshadowing. It's our second map. It is Nuke, as I mentioned. It is Marquette's pick. They did drop map number 1, 16-11, as Colorado went on an 8-1 streak to close out the map. I'm time to light that handsome man over there. That would be Viking. And as we head into our second map of this series, who do you got?
Hopefully an exciting time. I think Marquette has one of the things that I've really appreciated about Marquette is their map pool varies quite dramatically. We've seen, like Ancient is one of the few times that we've seen Ancient has been because of Marquette's pick. But as I look across the selections of the last couple of weeks, we see Overpass just a lot. And as much as I appreciate the artisanal nature of Overpass and what that means to the current competitive meta, it is really nice to break that up every once in a while. So this has been a particularly interesting map to play around on because Marquette has dominated quite often on this, but we've seen the same thing from Colorado when they've played it. So this could be quite the equalizer. Just based on prep and experience alone, it's hard to say. I would assume since it was Marquette's pick that they planned for this for a while. Not sure if we can say the same for Colorado, but Marquette on the T side opening is going to give them the opportunity to sort of dictate the pace. We are going to see them starting to move into that upper side. They drop in, but to the no surprise of no one, Kettle takes out that. We see Marquette trying to push through into heaven. RC takes out the first, and now they're going to go up into that heaven position. Eratoshi is looking for it and ready, and he spams those USP shots, but doesn't hit anybody. As Alter falls onto the site, he's going to get that bomb down, and Colorado with 4 players has some retaking to do, but Just Rich making it more difficult, and Kettle able to take out Just Rich in return. So now Just Alter remains on site, playing from behind the pillars. He's going to get the first and the second. Oh, he's got just the biggest opportunity. Kettle going in for the knife. Oh, that hubris. That hubris.
Oh, he's got it. Oh my gosh, he pulls it off. Kettle, I thought was going to throw the way of the round. That was so very close, yet so very far. Unfortunately, at least for Just Rich, it just did not come through for the jumping kill over top. I really thought Just Rich was just going to hang out on top of the hut and wait for the play to come through himself, yet decides to oversend it and drop down. And when you play horizontally up against a USP that has the accuracy that the USP does, well, you're going to get headshot. It's going to happen, especially when you're just sitting in front of somebody and no longer strafing, especially with the aim we can see from Kettle. It's not going to end well for you. The outside play will come through. They did get the bomb down, so they will have money. This time it will be the half-buy eco-ish save, kind of whatever. They're just going to try for some money here, maybe do some economic damage. It does not look like it's going to happen, and convincingly so. Creature actually gets 2 kills to close that one out with a USP no less. And yet again, it's a full house of frags in favor of Colorado. Kettle over top of Creature this time around, and they sweep the second round. But Marquette will have this third round bye, and it will be a bonus for the Colorado. Wait a sec. Okay, they are buying. Oh, my heart.
Hey, Marquette doesn't come into this to play scared. They are ready and prepared to be aggressive, and that either works out really well or they get punished for it. That's the nature of the game and the beauty of watching Marquette play, I think. So Colorado set up outside, expecting some of that aggression. Marquette is going to play a little bit closer to Little Garage this time around. As they go outside, we see Alter up on Marshmallow, and he's going to get a couple taps out, but doesn't quite get the kill until he can finish it off. So Creature goes down. Going to leave 4 players on the map for Colorado who, you know, feeling pretty confident so far after those first 2 rounds.
Ooh, Just Rich, nice flank though. Out and around Kettle, who did not expect the flank across. TV Cozy close range, SMG, name a more iconic duo. The headshot as well to eliminate Prod where they stand or where they now lie. Mandalore, predicts it perfectly. The shot down on RC to drop him like an RCXD wasn't as explosive, but still popping off. Aratoshi now in a difficult position with the MP9, needs to go up quick or get a quiet flank. Seems to be the latter, into the former, finds the first, but the bomb goes down. It's now down to a 2 versus 1. DB Cozy trying to pull it off, needs to swing this properly. Unfortunately for himself, does not do so. And the opener, at least of the gun rounds, goes the way of Marquette. Colorado will have a spotty bye this time.
It will, and this is the start of Marquette, you know, starting to really show their comfort with the map, as we see a lot of times when they go into sort of those outside of the normal scope of map selection, which is always fun. So they're continuing with this sort of semi-aggression. We're going to see them trying to open up the top site and drop down in defense the best that they can. This time, Creature playing from Secret is going to get 2 out of the 3 kills that we just saw. Kettle picking up the other. And that's an immediate shutdown for Marquette, as they're just trying to find something. And Just Rich finds RC creeping around the smoke, but Kettle, also playing from Redbox, finds them and immediately traded by Remy. So it's just Remy against 3 Colorado players. That's a tough ask, and we keep finding ourselves in these positions, right? You know, we think that we got a definitive end to the round, but Remy, just as I say that, takes out Aratoshi, but the double peek from Secret puts an end to Marquette's round.
Believe it or not, we just got our second full house of kills in 4 rounds, and this time it was between the same 2 players, except for Creature got the 3K this time. For all of you poker players or non-poker players, it's when one player gets 3 frags, the other one gets 2. Yeah, hence the full house. But
you come here for Counter-Strike, you learn a little bit about gambling.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, the Mac played at the Showboat Hotel, and it's Atlantic City, so I figured I'd keep up with the theme from last week. What is that? Come on, man. I mean, I know you got the sound cue, but that's just rude. You ever, like, hit, like, an insane shot, or have someone hit an insane shot in front of you, and you're just, like, disappointed that it hit, because it's like, wow, that was cool, but I wish I could do that?
I mean, I like to think that I am the one doing that, but I see your point.
Not.
I know that I'm not
never
either,
the one doing
but
that.
hey, we can appreciate that. That's why we're in the cast right now. Just Rich takes off Creature's head there. While across the map in Ramp Room, Cozy's trying to defend from the onslaught of Marquette that's coming for him. And yet, he's back off a little bit. There's just not a lot going on. Just Rich gets peeked around the corner. Kettle takes him out. And now Mandalore and friends just trying to do something. They're just looking for that any information whatsoever, but unfortunately nothing comes out of it for Marquette, who instead just lose 2 players. So now it's just Alter in that last position, does get the dink, almost does some damage, but Eritoshi with the MP9 just cleans it up quickly, gets that extra $600 from the SMG kill, and puts the 4th round up on the board for Colorado.
Colorado and a CT side is not easy to contend against. We saw that very convincingly on Overpass, but I'm a little surprised this convincing here on Nuke. I'm expecting a little bit more out of Marquette when they start to put a little bit more of a gun round together. This time will really be that pivotal point, but we'll see if it does collapse for them. Eritoshi trying the SMG spray. It's not going to work. I'm really looking at utility usage for Marquette. This is their map choice. They should have all the utility usage in the world, and they should be prepared for shots like that. Kettle will find one. No more, though, so it's a good refrag, just not early enough on the initial frag, and that's what's going to cost you. That's a nice kill from over top, and another one as he drops down. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is indeed a reasonable reaction to that. I think this is sort of a carryover from the last map. You saw Colorado, once they found their footing, started to feel really confident in their approach to that. And as a result of it, won, I think, 9 out of the, 8 out of the last 9 rounds of that map. And we're seeing them roll into this where Marquette is able to do some damage. And right now with the bomb down, they are able to take out Eritoshi. So Remy playing from beneath heaven, Prod trying to cover him to make sure that nothing bad happens. Doesn't quite go as cleanly as they want to, but Prod is able to take out 2 before Cozy goes down. The Molly is going to just put a slight delay on that, but with the kit, it's going to be no trouble, no sweat off of Colorado's brow whatsoever. 5-1 in favor of Colorado.
Another good round. That one cost them a little bit more than I think they would have liked. Of course, economy is everything on the CT side. If you don't have the utility to deny the push, especially from the utility-based Marquette side, you're not going to be in a good position. Of course, we will see a full belt for everyone on Colorado, but now they're not looking good in terms of their own economy. If Marquette pick up this round, then Colorado's going to have an average of maybe $1,800 to $2,400 a player. It's not going to be great. There's a good opener. That's exactly what they need. But RC with the COD gun. Uh-oh. Mandalore's dead. The AUG in all its glory or infamy. How do you... Infamy? Yeah, infamy. That's the word.
Infamy. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about all you get out of the AUG, and that's what you get out of the M4A1S. More kills. Kettle with a 3K. Oh my gosh. RC... That's the AUG, and it's another full house of frags between 2 different people. Well, 1 different person. Kettle's still involved, and Colorado still looking to push towards the Brazil with the money on Marquette. I think that's what we're going to see.
This is where Marquette really needs to start coming back into this, of course. I mean, we always talk about how, or we talked about originally how Colorado oftentimes will start kind of playing from behind as they get going. This is Marquette's opportunity to do the same, play from behind, find that momentum, and close out as much as they possibly can. But it's been difficult because Colorado is playing really well from all these positions. Mandalore is able to get a scout kill over onto Kettle and open up the outside just a little bit, but there's a lot of damage done to Just Rich and Remy from all of that spamming that happened before against a very well-equipped Colorado team. So they're kind of stuck out here as they look for something. The quick swing from Just Rich ultimately doesn't go in their favor. Mandalore is still playing from top of Marshmallow, tries to find something and finally takes off the head of Creature. So there's 2 against 3. This is still looking pretty tough for Marquette. As you see, Prod goes down inside. Mandalore stuck on Marshmallow, just trying to do whatever he can. He does get a shot in. Is it enough to get 1 more kill? It is not. Eritoshi takes it down. Mandalore, all their hopes and dreams erased in a couple bullets.
Somebody call the Latin American fan base. We have a Brazil. Colorado up 7-1. This is not great for Marquette. They will have another bye, and they'll have another bye every other round, and really every round if they get a bomb plant, but if you're not winning rounds, it really does not matter how much you buy. Colorado is running away with this map. I gotta say, this is a lot better than I expected from Colorado. I was really looking for Marquette to have a good showing on their T side. Whoa, what a shot. Creature being read to a T. Your one-way smokes on top of the garage are not as innocuous in the... English is escaping me again. Inconspicuous. That's the word I was looking for. Ah, I can speak English again. Whoop whoop.
There you go. So Marquette, unlike previous rounds, have actually gotten all the way into secret now. So they have a couple players walking around trying to find wherever those players are hiding, and they're going to see that pixel. Oh my God, Aratoshi able to climb up the ladder, gets away with just the 5 health. That is a wild, wild way to escape. Unfortunately, his teammate Kettle not able to find the same amount of luck. RC trading just rich after taking out Cozy, and these kills just keep going back and forth. But Marquette is just kind of all over the place, and it's really difficult for Colorado to get a handle on where it is. They still think they're in lower, but Marquette is actually above them on the A site going in for that plant. So they're going to hear that. RC is going to come up through the vents. As you see, Aratoshi with his precious 5 HP coming up from the other side. The double peek onto RC through that is going to try to escape with his life. Aratoshi missing that grenade just slightly, but oh boy, this is a tough space to be. Oh, they're looking the wrong direction. Marquette able to double their rounds, get up to 2. That's a great place to win back that first round, but a little closer than is comfortable.
I'm not gonna lie, that should have been a 1 round for Colorado. Aratoshi should have peaked earlier, and you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Every caster says it, but in that situation, you have all the attention of both players on Marquette over on RC. RC's running away towards Squeaky, making all the noise possible and dragging all the attention. He's like a teenage girl, and well, it happens. At least the ones that go to my school, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna airlift you out of that one.
Yeah.
We'll continue into this round. So Marquette able to find RC on the outside. They have been trying to find any success and coming up short in most rounds. In the last 2, they have been able to actually make progress outside, which has been a huge difference for that. And as they're pushing towards ramps, trying to split that a little bit, Cozy's able to take out Remy as they put in that position. Mandalore takes out Aratoshi on top of Hut. Kettle on prod, they're just continuously getting into these situations where there's just an immediate flurry of trades happening. Marquette coming out on the shorter end of this is they're going to have to go back towards that trophy room area and just try for something. But Cozy with that FAMAS on it, but he runs directly into the crosshairs of Mandalore, who just takes his head off. And now Marquette is finding themselves in a 2v2 situation and a difficult choice of do they go upper or lower. And as I say, it was difficult. It seems like they've already made up their mind as they push out of lower Hut. Creature sitting in vents waiting for something to happen, but is he going to get the timing right? Oh, that ladder reset just kind of is rough, and Alter just playing the MVP of that with the Galil, able to take out those last 2 Colorado players and put up the 3rd round for Marquette. Marquette finding some signs of life here.
You know, I would like nothing more than for Marquette to win this half. That would be just the nail in the coffin of casters cursing. Yeah, that's basically what we'd see at the end of this. Marquette winning the next 5 in a row. Yeah, this is not looking good for Colorado because look at their money. They are not well endowed whatsoever. Nice shot, but it doesn't hit the head, and body shots are not enough with the scout out. Alter cleaning up outside, and it's a cleanup crew on aisle outside of the store. This is not looking good for Colorado. It was an eco in all fairness, but they need to be able to build off of this.
They got a lot of rounds to make up in 3-7, and Kettle with the USP just disrespecting Alter from the secret area. Got that M4. But there are 4 players on the Marquette side. The bomb is down to halfway. He's just going to try to hold on to this. And he's doing some extra damage. He finds Remy's head coming up through secret there. But Mandalore on the flank just everywhere. Marquette is so good at creating those just suffocating positions. My favorite example of how they play Inferno, just immediately on the CT side, just forcing everybody to sit in T ramp and not giving them a single inch. So I'm expecting that we're going to see just a little bit of that when they swap over to the CT side. But for the time being, they're clawing back as many rounds as possible. 4-7 in favor of Colorado still, but Marquette able to win the last 3. Doing a good job of making the most out of what they've got.
Colorado at this point, You were talking about making the most out of what they got. Colorado don't have a lot coming into this, and well, they're already down a member. Looking for a second is just Rich. The shots are just not landing on really either side. Creature does more damage, but Mandalore ends up getting the kill overall. The trades, though, Creature is there, and this time hits the shots. Can't see a dang thing, though. Nice flash over top for Alter, not Arthur. Alter, who will take out Creature, and the man advantage back in favor of Cat, and even further as Eratoshi left in yet another 1vx scenario. I feel like that's a trend of today. Alter, yeah, feels bad.
Yeah, he certainly stepped up and made a huge difference. I mean, we could just look at the scoreboard on the side of Marquette, and we can see that Alter and Mandalore have really made the difference as the rest of the team has really struggled to find their footing in this first half so far. But Marquette, with 2 players left against Eratoshi, do get the bomb down in lower. Eratoshi in a position where he can make a play for it, but he's going to have to find one of those opening picks if he's going to feel confident enough to actually make a run for it. And with the bomb clock ticking down, he does have a kit, but that's a pretty big ask with the Marquette players focused on most points of entry. And he does get just a little bit of a dink through the wall. Unfortunately, not enough to take out Remy, who returns the damage in kind, wins the battle, and Marquette continues to claw back 5-7.
I'm surprised Marquette's the one calling the timeout here.
Well, I mean, where you're at, you got to figure out how you're going to manage everything for the remaining rounds, right? So I feel it.
Yeah, Colorado in a difficult scenario yet again. They don't have the money to full buy, and they don't have the worse economy to try and half buy it. So you're looking at upgraded pistols and a scout on Creature. So you're looking to pepper them with the scout and finish them off with the P250s and the 2 Deagles on Cozy and RC. Marquette, however, just want to make sure they don't get ecoed. They don't want to get just
Yeah.
you don't want to get eco. This wouldn't be a full eco. I've seen USPs win rounds in EGF and in other leagues, but mostly in EGF. It's kind of scary. And then, well, then your mental's chalked. You lose the game, and everything falls apart from there. In this situation, Marquette need to play very concrete. They need to play together. I think most importantly, you cannot allow yourself to be singled out into 1v1s. And if you do, it may just cost you a round. And at that point, possibly the map with momentum and snowballing.
I really like where this map is heading. I mean, we were really excited about how equal it's been, and we saw a lot of that on Overpass, and Marquette in their map pick is making it clear why they picked it. And again, just love this map. Mandalore rushing onto site, taking out Eratoshi, Just Rich onto RC, and they immediately have control of this upper site. Kettle does his best to take something out. He does find Prod through the smoke. Mandalore puts an end to that. So we got 1 player left trying to push through Trophy Room, and somehow still alive is Cozy, Creature from the outside in Mini Hut, trying to do whatever damage he can with the scout, not doing a whole lot. He's going to fall to those AKs, and this is very easily a round going in favor of Marquette. So they're now within 1 round of equalizing this and making it 7-7.
That's exactly what they needed. A good round. They're going to keep the money in their favor, and they will be able to buy for the final 2 rounds of the half. Again, regardless of the outcomes. That's exactly what you need if you're Marquette. You need a concrete buy, and sometimes consistency is difficult to come by. Colorado are about as inconsistent of a spot as you can get. They had a 7-1 lead. I just want to highlight that really quick. A 7-1 lead. They were Braziling Marquette, and Marquette is about to win the half. If they win this round, I think they win the half.
I think that's a fair assessment. In an interesting way, it's basically a carbon copy of what we saw on Overpass in reverse. So that I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. It is worth noting that outside of Colorado, they've really struggled to get going across the board, with Kettle having 20 of their kills in total, doubling their next closest. So there's just been a little bit of a difficulty as Marquette has started to step up and find a lot more of these 1v1 picks. Mandalore and RC trade picks. It's a 1-for-1 trades all the way through. Marquette starting their offensive. They're pushing out onto the A site, and Colorado trying desperately to position themselves for a successful retake, because they do not want to give up this round where they've got their guns, because as you pointed out, if they lose this, the last round is likely to go in favor of Marquette.
One-way smoke will be set up for the retake. Creature will drop the Molotov directly below. They will break out of this heaven position. 2 of the 3 players are here, and Creature sends themselves out. There's the 1-for-1 trade, 2-for-1 now favoring this Colorado side, and it just falls apart. Kettle with the double kill. Creature will finish it off with a kill of their own, and of course Aratoshi, who fell earlier, along with RC, finish off the remaining of those 5 kills required to win out the round. Colorado will win out the half at that. That's what they needed. That is a momentum round, to say the least. That is a I am better than you at retaking a site than you are at holding it down. That is what Colorado need to look good in this half, because Marquette, on the CT side of their own map pick, that's dangerous.
Pretty scary. Now the question is Colorado going to be able to make this a 9-6 and just continue to build up a little bit of cushion, trying to take back what Marquette was already stealing from them? Still to be seen. We see a lot of the same sort of initial opening tactics that we've seen from Marquette so far, feeling pretty confident in how that's worked out, obviously, over the last quite a few rounds. The last round not included, but Cozy able to take out 3 heads of the Marquette team before finally being stopped by Alter. Whew. RC able to pick up Alter, but Remy the only one left. This looks like a 9-6 half for Colorado.
You think Remy's got it? I think Remy can do it.
He certainly can.
Whether he will or not is a very different story, and it's very difficult for him to get into a good position. Of course, he did just jump over Mini, so hey, a 1 versus 4 is not awful, and it's not impossible, but it's certainly not easy nor probable. Finds the first, takes 50 damage for it, so that's not the opener you're looking for. And he now has to go towards that bomb, which is lying inside of this trophy side over towards the main entrance to ramp. And, well, there's an entire 4 kits of utility just sitting in that room. Colorado has more utility than the U.S. Army, and I don't think it's close.
Oh, but that smoke is going to be the opportunity. Oh, you saw the pixel. Oh, man.
No way.
That was a lot closer than I think we were expecting that to be. And an admirable attempt by Remy there to try to build something out of a bad situation. Marquette ends up with a pretty respectable number, or a pretty respectable half, considering how things started off. So they are going to be down by 3 rounds, but if they win this pistol on the CT side, that puts them in a great position to bring this back to the equalizer and give Colorado a little bit of a scare.
All right, so I've accepted that Marquettes are going to win this pistol because Prod has dualies and is going to ramp. And believe it or not, that's exactly where the entirety of Colorado is going. That's a nice nade. It's not going to hit as much as you thought, but here's the dualies. There's one. Oh, no, he misses. Oh, Prod, you have the best weapon in the game for close-range engagements, and you whiff. Colorado's going to win the pistol because of it, and the dualies...
Hey, it's not over yet. You don't know.
Well, true. Remy does have a kit. Alter does have a set of armor. That is a very dangerous duo in a 2 versus 4, and they're looking to push up ramp. And Colorado's looking to plant on A. The bomb will go down on A. That is going to happen. There's 1 player towards CT ramp. Creature's going to move around towards Squeaky and just sit there. Aratoshi's picked up the aforementioned dualies, and what's Marquette doing here? Are they going to try and push vents? Creature seems to be aware of the possibility and is now, and yeah, hits the shot. 1 versus 4. Alter's in yet another 1vx scenario. We'll find the first. Anything more than that, I think, is a credit, and, well, you won't find anything. Creature just holds W and D across W and A. Wrong straight button. Anyway, Colorado in the pistol.
Yeah, rough start for Marquette on that side, but, you know, they did get the bomb down, so that's going to give them the opportunity to buy into this round still if they choose to, but it looks like they're going to opt for a bunch of nades, which can be just as effective as a full buy if used correctly and timed properly. So we're going to see a bunch of those nades going out, and they are going to catch at least a couple of terrorists. We see a good amount of damage on Aratoshi, but not quite enough to finish them. Kettle goes down to Remy after taking out 2. Oh, Prod, the bullets. The bullets. That's a tough spot to be.
Yeah, Creature caught outside with a nade in his hand. Wait a second. Hold. Did he hit that shot? I don't think he did. I'm really concerned that he did. He hits that one anyway, so it's a 3K on the round for Creature. Kettle with 2 more for him.
You
Colorado.
just need, a couple pixels to make those shots, you know?
Yeah, he didn't hit the shot. That's really unfortunate. I thought he did. I was very concerned. I'm watching our delayed feedback, and I thought he did. I really did, but it didn't happen. Colorado pick up second round, and now Marquette. It's a save and upgraded pistols. This is a bonus, to say the least, for Colorado with full weaponry and, well, no contention. Marquette, in now an already poor situation, has turned even worse. A 3 versus 5. Alter, up above, does find one. An AK's dropped. This is a possibility of getting picked up, and Just Rich is above watching the other side of that hut. But, well, Creature shuts down Alter, and it's a 2 versus 4.
Ooh,
Wait a
that's the
second.
bomb and a gun.
Wait a second here, Tyler. This is possible. Just Rich. No, he doesn't pick up the rifle. Oh, you could have had it. Now it's Prod. Left in a 1 versus 3. It's another 1vx scenario. He saw him. RC, turn around. Knife him. Oh no! He's what? He got him. Oh, the Huntsman knife Doppler will finish him off, and that is insult to injury with a little bit of style. He's got to clean that one off. It's no longer a Huntsman knife Doppler. It's turning into the Ruby. Skin connoisseurs, be aware. Colorado up 12-6. They've doubled the score of Marquette and show no signs of stopping.
Nor should they. I think they're doing a great job of just continuing to sit that down. Now that Remy has the op, he's going to be able to take out Teratoshi at long range, but Creature with the op finally in their hands is sorry, excuse me. First time of the op in their hands are going to do the same. So Remy just doing as much damage as possible from that outer garage area. Prod, this is Marquette's first opportunity to be up and around, except for the first on the pistol. So this is going very, very well for them compared to where they've been. Creature with the op and Kettle with an AK are all that's left to try to make something of this round that's otherwise really gone entirely in favor of Marquette.
Creature is the one you'd want to have. That's a nice shot from Kettle. Still on the ladder. Doesn't make you pinpoint accurate, but it does make you accurate enough where you can try stuff like that. 2 versus 3. This is possible. Creature is a very aggressive opera, and I think that's one thing that really is going to favor Colorado in this specific situation. Smoke will be dropped out, and they will push out from this position. They don't clear the close corner, though. Mandalore, nice shot, but Creature now in 1 versus 3. Finds the first one and will drop down. The vent drop has come through, and the bomb should go down on towards this B side. Prod, an early rotation down the ramp, but not early enough. The bomb will be planted. Creature in a 1 versus 2 with a super sub will come through, but not with that shot. Remy is going to flank back around through that secret position, but out the double door goes Creature, and into a good position he will remain. Prod nading off the wrong spot as Creature's holding it from control. Does Prod clear this? He doesn't have to. Creature's repositioned. This is a perfect spot for him. Has he been cleared by the op on the other side? The op shot misses. Oh, he misses again! Creature, he legs him. No way. He's still alive. He hits that shot as well. There's no shot. He pulls this off. Prod has a kit. He's sticking it. Creature's not going to win it purely off the kit, and he will fall as well. The op is going to be dropped and picked up by Prod. The BM over top of it, shooting the already deceased corpse. And Marquette will pick up their first round of this CT side in hectic as heck fashion.
Super hectic, but it's got to feel good to get that first round of the half on the board. Marquette struggling a little bit, you know, as we've talked about, in just Colorado keeping that momentum rolling. So now Marquette has a responsibility. They got to keep going, but Colorado making it very difficult, taking out 4 before Alter finally finds Creature. Oh, he's going for the second, getting in the third. He knows that he's there, but with only 8 health, that's a big ass to keep up that momentum, and it seems like that's going to be the end of it. So Colorado deciding, all right, we gave you 1, but no more. Very, very quick end to that with a lot of aggression.
Yeah, and Marquette in that situation didn't have money. They fully invested and kept 1 player alive. Yeah, the op was nice to keep over, but they've already lost it. It hasn't been traded over. I think that's the most important part. Colorado no longer have that big green gun, but Marquette have no money. It's upgraded pistols, single smoke, and no armor whatsoever. This is a round where you're not supposed to win, and, well, it doesn't help when RC hits shots like that. He didn't clear his corner, and he gets Zeused. It's the Zico! We love to see it. Prod is left in a 1 versus 4. This isn't great, but I love the Zico. For all of you unfamiliar, you eco and buy a Zeus. It's really cool.
We'll get something out of it. CC on Prod. Not really giving him a lot of opportunities for those close quarter angles, but he will have the opportunity potentially. But Colorado's delaying putting that bomb down still, as we see them finally making their way onto the A site.
Knife him.
Finally, the bomb is going to go down for Kosi, and Prod waiting for the knife, and he picks up Creature and the gun. He's going to try to run away from it. We'll see if Colorado feels like chasing, but for the time being, Prod has pulled off a great play by getting an extra bit of cash for the knife and the AK to bring over into the next round if he can survive. But Colorado, of course, aware of this, are going to try to keep that away from him. So Prod's got a big task on his hand to try to keep himself from losing that.
Oh, Prod
And he
with the
seems
fight.
well up to the task. Wow. Takes off Eritoshi immediately. He's trying to hide and be a little cheeky towards Secret. Oh, he's just got to hold on. But Cozy.
He's gonna get him. Oh, he will. Oh, that's so mean. Prod does have $7,200. I just want to highlight that really quick. Nice $1,500 knife alongside of the $300 AK kill. He walked into that round with, if my math serves me correctly, a lot less money than he currently has.
Certainly.
Actually, no, a lot more money than he currently has. He bought the op and armor and full utility, so almost a full investment. Not enough money for a kit. Oh my gosh, Remy's down to 6 health. The double up setup here for the CT side thus far, not landing what it needs to, and that cannot happen. They need these early frags. Alter will find one of them, but Remy is still low. Luckily has the op, but, well, Mandalore is unluckily dead, and Remy, as I said, was low, is now dead. The MAC-10 with a double already. This is not great.
It's a really tough spot for Marquette to be in. They're certainly at a significant round disadvantage, facing the difference between going up to their 8th round and going to match point, and Colorado's not making it easy getting the double kill out there. So Creature is going to stay outside. Eritoshi and Creature both super low. Kettle and Cozy all just 2 shots away from death, but Prod with the op is not going to have the right tools. He does find Creature, but unfortunately Cozy finds the immediate refrag, carefully protecting his teammates and just doing the best he can. So Colorado now has Marquette on the ropes. There is only 1 round left between them and victory on this map, and us moving on to our 3rd game of the night. So Marquette, are they going to raise to the challenge, or is Colorado going to close the door for this series? We'll find out in just a few seconds.
Good for us. We don't have to wait much longer. Kettle, you're supposed to knife it, not Zeus it. He does bring out the Zeus, though, and they're going to add insult to injury in this situation. Remy jumping forward. There's one shot. The no-scope with the op does find one, but there is a flank being set up in the vents and around towards Mini. Eritoshi moving themselves around and clearing just about everything possible. And, well, they've played the Uno reverse cards. Everybody has switched sides. One team's protecting the lobby. The other needs to aggress to just find the bomb. Not even the bomb plant. Kettle will peek around and finds the opener onto Remy. Needs to peek around and find even more. Prod, however, has a Negev and finds one back. He's flashed, but he's still in it. No way. Alter, please win this. Oh, okay. Alter hits the headshot.
No bias here. We're just excited for that life match.
No, I'm excited for a longer game. That is what I am not biased about. Aha!
Sure.
I have caught you in a catch-22.
We're in favor of the game of Counter-Strike and seeing for all of its beauty. Marquette does manage to stay alive for 1 more round. Colorado still on that 15th. Marquette is playing for overtime, and they don't have any choice but to continue the momentum that they picked up from that round to the best that they can, and they're doing their best to do so. Mandalore is able to find Creature through the smoke, through the wall, and takes out their first enemy. They're holding on to that, but there's not a lot there. But they do realize that people are going down the vents. Just Rich sprays into the smoke, finds the MP9 kill, and there's more Colorado players there to be taken out if they can find and connect with the shots. Just Rich picking up on it is going to find another one through the smoke. This is disastrous for Colorado trying to push through Squeaky.
Now Just Rich is going to find it. No way Cozy uses this. How is Cozy still alive? I think that's the most important part. He's not, at least not anymore. Prod now in a 1 versus 5. Finds the first, but I didn't even look at the clock. Apparently, they didn't either. Marquette pick up their 9th. Colorado still on match point. They have won the series. It is mathematically impossible for Marquette to win the series, whether this goes to overtime or not. the 5-round differential will stand and Colorado will win the series. However, Marquette can make it interesting and really can win a map. Maps do mean a lot in these scenarios because of playoff implications. DePaul and Marquette, most importantly, are about as close as it gets between one another. And with shots like that, they're only going to get closer. Magnetization between the two squads as RC tries to separate them. Dualies from that distance don't do that much, my friend. And unfortunately, I don't think he got the memo on that one. Marquette are in a good spot here. Prod is low, but they do still have 3 rifles available, and they do still have that man advantage.
Kettle finds Alter, though, and suddenly this is a very uncomfortable spot for Marquette to be. Remy, all right, okay, we're finding a little bit, but I don't know if they realize where Kettle is, and Kettle does have the bomb right now, so he has free reign to go wherever he is. It sounds like Prod heard the sound cue. They're going to hear the bomb goes down, so Prod knows exactly where they're going to be, and they have to be very careful not to put this into a 1v1. They need the refrag more than anything, but Kettle is already pushing into those back halls, trying to find something. He gets a Zeus onto Remy, so now it's just Prod with 15 health and a Dream trying to do whatever he possibly can to win this for his team. And through the smoke, Kettle ends the game and the series in favor of Colorado 16-9. So that's the second map that Colorado wins, and Marquette falls two maps this week. It's a tough loss. Very, very competitive games. A really true pleasure to watch both of these teams play all the time. But unfortunately, just not quite enough for Marquette this time around.
That one hurt a little bit if you're Marquette. They were close, but unfortunately just not quite. 16-11 and 16-9 were the final 2 scores. A 32-20 overall against the best team in the EGF is not a bad showing, but Marquette, if you're them, you want to be closer. At least the mathematical best team in the EGF. DePaul may disagree with me after beating them, but you're really looking at a team that is very, very close. And these teams at the top are not separated by much. It's singular map wins between them. And that's what we love to see. The midfield, they're going to separate themselves by singular map wins as well. We talked about it last week with how close playoff implications are there. Nationals are not that far away. The conference championships intertwined with them. This is close, Tyler.
It is, like you said, there's literally one map coming into this week that separated the top 3. Colorado 24, Marquette 23, DePaul 22. So with that, Colorado is going to extend their lead to 26. And depending on what happens in our next match coming up with DePaul USA, we may see the changing of the guard with DePaul taking second, with Marquette having lost and staying at that 23 rounds. So this is very exciting. I mean, like you said, we're coming up onto the postseason, so there's a lot of opportunities for even more drama. But very exciting to see how the regular season continues to play out, as we do have 2 weeks left of the regular season after tonight. So I'm pretty excited about. We're gonna. Do we have Colorado get a chance to talk to their players about what happened?
No. Plus ratio. Yeah. I just got a DM from RC. No one to interview. Quote, sorry, Thicky. Yeah, see that as you will. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Zohan will take over for yours truly. Tyler, of course, will stay. You can't get rid of him that easily. And it's going to be USA going up against the infamous DePaul. DePaul trying to take some control. USA doing the same, just a little bit lower in the standings. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.